Several other NPP bigwigs addressed the rally, while the NDC's former president, John Dramani Mahama, and flag bearer, as well as other NDC stalwarts, held a final rally on Sunday, June 25. Now, this will be the end of all campaigns in the constituency ahead of the election, after days of crisscrossing the constituency to solicit votes from the constituents. Three candidates, James Jachi Kwesing from the opposition, the National Democratic Congress, also Charles Opoku from the governing New Patriotic Party, and Enyonam Sefenu from the Liberal Party of Ghana, contesting the Asin North by-election. However, the campaigns did not end without punchlines from leaders of the two main contenders. Former President John Dramani Mahama described President Kufuor's comment on James Jachi Kwesing as unfortunate. Now, President Kufuor, while addressing worshippers at the Church of Pentecost in Asin Akomfudi, said constituents of Asin North do not need an MP to go to prison. Take a listen to the president speak, then the former president John Dramani Mahama's response while speaking to my colleague Kamla Klute.
His Excellency the President says that the people of Asin North do not deserve a prisoner as a parliamentary member.
The President is wrong if he said that, because he's prejudicing the case in court. He's not a prisoner, you see. He's not been convicted. You are innocent until proven guilty. He's not been proven guilty. And even justices of the court and professors of law have said that the Supreme Court erred in his judgment. He's not a prisoner, and if the President said that, it's unfortunate, it's against our democracy, it's against our laws.
So that was a report from the Asin North constituency. We're working the lines to speak with my colleague Kamla Klute, who is in the constituency at the moment, to bring us, tell us what the temperature of the constituency is ahead of the by-election there tomorrow. When we reach him, we'll bring you that conversation. But moving on, the board and management of the Tema Oil Refinery told they say the Toronto deal is the best option for reviving the refinery and ensuring its long-term viability. Then management was responding to concerns raised by civil society organizations concerning the Toronto partnership deal. Now, the partnership had drawn criticism from CSO, who had claimed it had been conducted covertly and did not offer at all the best opportunity or value. The management of the state-owned refinery disclosed in a statement that it's embarked on an intensive evaluation of potential solutions. The management team noted that they came to the conclusion that the Toronto deal presented the most promising course of action after giving it careful thoughts and thorough analysis. To some other stories, and the Director General of the Narcotics Control Commission, Kenneth Edu Amantho, has charged the general public and law enforcement agencies to help stop the promotion of drug abuse and its usage. He made the call as part of the celebration of World Tobacco Day, which falls today, June 26. Now, studies show that over 6,000 persons in Ghana die annually from tobacco-related diseases. According to the study, 66% of the deaths are among individuals under the age of 70, while 18% are among those exposed to secondhand smoking. The Narcotics Control Commission, as part of the World Tobacco Day, embarked on a walk to sensitize the public on the harmful effects of tobacco, the use and the illicit drug trade. Acting Director of Public Health Relations of the Narcotics Control Commission, Francis Opoku, said the fight against illicit drugs has recorded some successes.
You cannot put your hands at your back and say that you've won the fight, because it's a continuous and it's a shared responsibility. Every member of the public, Ghanaian public, has a role to play in making sure that this thing we call a fight, we are able to minimize it and, if possible, eradicate it.
So that was from the Narcotics Control Commission, Francis Opoku speaking there. Now, the high rate of unemployment in the country has partly been linked to unreliability of the transport system. Professor Michael Opoku-Buansi, Deputy Director of the School of Graduate Studies at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, revealed this during a lecture on transport poverty in Africa.
Across many African cities, including Accra and Kumasi, the unreliability of the transport system limits access to services, businesses, and employment opportunities, among others. It must be noted, however, that transport poverty is not just in the developing world. Transport poverty exists in wealthy Europe too. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, 35% of Ghanaian households have indicated that the most important problem is high transportation fares.
You heard the voice of Professor Michael Opoku-Buensi speaking there. Now to some other stories, and over 4,000 Ghanaian pilgrims under the supervision of the Ghana Hajj Board and Hajj Secretariat taking part in this year's Hajj have arrived in Mina from Mecca ahead of Arafah on Tuesday, June 27, 2023. Now every Muslim is wished to perform Hajj at least once in his or her lifetime for the total supplications of the blessings from Allah. This year's Ghana Camp in Mina has seen a total improvement in all aspects of comfortability, like upgradement of berths, tent layout, food security, medicals, and general welfare. Pilgrims are expected to stay in Mina for 5 days to complete all the rituals of Hajj and climax with the Tawaf Iftar at Masjid Haram in Mecca. Now let's bring you some other stories related to the banking and the financial sector, where banking experts have been reacting to the Bank of Ghana's directive mandating the use of armored vehicles for cash in transit. According to Professor Deborah, several banks may encounter difficulties in implementing this new requirement.
I mean, at which the regulator wants is immediate implementation. And I think that is where some of us will want to plead with the Bank of Ghana to have some leniency for the banks, because we just finished the domestic debt escape program, which has had some impact both on the liquidity and solvency. And some are still claiming their legs are still not strong on the ground. The regulator itself has given forbearance for 4 years.
You heard the voice of Dr. Miao Deborah speaking there, relating to the directive for banks to ensure that by July 1, all soft-skinned bullion vans are phased out of the system. Now, before we go, let's remind you of some of our top stories this morning, as the NPP and NDC are wrapping up rallies ahead of the Asin North by-election tomorrow. Also, board and management of the Tema Oil Refinery defend Torrent deal, describing it as the best option for reviving the refinery and ensuring its long-term viability. My name is Noble Crosby Annan. There's always more news on our website, 3news.com. Please log on for more. Good morning.
Accra gets